Let's use up some of our scrap papers to make some fun envelopes. Hello and welcome to the Treasured Page. I'm Melanie and this is our quiet crafting space. So today I thought I'd have a look at some old vintage papers. Making some envelopes out of sheet music and maps is a really fun thing to do. But today I've got a sheet of this old road map, and I'm thinking that that could look really nice as one of the envelopes that I want to be making for this month's project. So if you're not familiar with what we're doing for this month, we're going to be making a set of 4 envelopes that stack onto a belly band. So I'm just having a little play with the idea here and hopefully give you some inspiration. So what I've got here is an envelope. It's something that has come to me or given to me, and I've kept it because it's a good bit of packaging and it's a lovely envelope. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to see if I can unpick it, unstick it, and then what we have is a nice small envelope size. So now what I've got is a template to draw around and make my envelope. If you've got anything lying around like that, that's a very simple way of making an envelope in the style of something that you've already kept. You know it's going to fold up and turn out the way that it already looks here, so absolutely perfect to hunt around for these things. And maybe when you come across an envelope that you like, just keep it for this purpose. Now this one is extremely thick. It came to me with some nice card in it, and I've kept it because I love the shape. But really look at it, all it is an oval. And I think if you have a look at some of the packaging that we may even have in the house, sometimes that could be a lid of something that is of that shape. So it could be an ice cream or it could be a soup tub. So let's break this down and have a very quick look at the shapes that we're working with. We've got a rectangle, and that's like that, so just a rectangle. You could cut a postcard in half and you'd have that, and then on top it's just a semicircle on both sides, and then smaller ones on the other sides. And I was looking at that and thinking, what have I got? I've got this lid here, which is just a plastic lid from a postage tube actually. But if I turn it up, sorry about the glare, but if I turn it up, you'll see that it fits perfectly. And that could be the lid of some other tub, maybe some cleaning product. So you can make these shapes up just by getting a card, laying it down on your map, and then drawing around just half of it here, all the way around, and then be doing the same there, like that. And then for the side, you want something smaller, so you could start having a look at other circular things that you may have. Maybe you've got something like a tub of, well, this is glue. So you could just be drawing around a bottle or a tub, and we would create the shape that we've got here without even having to have the template. So that is just an idea, a rectangle and then circles that you can get from packaging, and you can create what I'm trying to achieve here. It just so happens that I have these and I wanted to use them. So I've already drawn around this one. I've put that down there and I've drawn around. I'm going to cut that out, so we'll have a look at that. So I'm just trying to see my line here. I perhaps did that a little bit too faint. Just coming around this map. We're in Windermere here, coming round. Quite a fun bit of map here with the contrast of the sea and the land. Just going to come round here and then bring that round there. There we go. So I love the contrast of the blue sea and the land together, so we're going to have that as the outside. So this is the inside, and all I need to do is just roll it in a little bit until I'm happy that that's the edge where it meets on both sides. I could even use the line on my table here, this line here, as a guide, so I know that that's relatively straight. And then I'll just turn it around and do the same thing. That looks pretty straight to me. And then I'll just do that on this one as well. Okay, and now I'm pulling in the sides, bringing up the bottom, It's orientated round the right way, and here as well. And this is how we do it. When we open it up and have another look, you make sure that what is going to be your front flap over, your envelope top, has to be at the bottom. So you start it at the bottom and then you'll be cutting round, and then your map is facing the right way up to begin with, but you're making sure that your flap that you're ultimately ending up with is going to be at the bottom of the page. So when you fold this one over, it reads round the right way, and now everything reads round the right way here. We've got a little bit of that white line there, but we could put a bit of washi tape of something else to add a bit of contrast, a bit of fabric, anything really. That's when you start to think about decorating and make it really fun. So we can ink round the edge to define that, but that's a really cute way of creating an envelope. All I do now is I'd put in some permanent creases with my bone folder, and I've got myself a very nice simple envelope, and I can go and make loads of those. The other thing to think about is a closure and how I want this to look. Now these are really nice to make because in a journal this portion is going to be viewed as upside down, and that could be stuck down in the journal anyway, so you can have it as it opens like that. You can then line it with writing paper if you want, or you can seal it shut so it is just a nice little pocket or tuck for something. But there's a few possibilities there. Then you might want to think about a closure and how you could decorate this. Would it look nice with a policy closure? Then you could maybe do a slit or a line with a craft knife, and you could slot that in. But when we're making these out of paper, particularly using vintage paper, they're often quite thin and beautiful, and they feel nice, and there's something about it. So I think that really what we want is just some flat enclosure here, and something that we just maybe tuck it into, it will be fine. So those are to be made. Now this was the leftover scrap, and I'm just going to see that here I probably haven't got enough to make this one. Now looking at my scrap again, and knowing that I have to orientate the top flap, the bit that's going to fold over and look pretty, has to be facing the right way up to begin with, and if I put that down, this will be the bit that I will see, this portion of map. So what I want to do is put it there and have a look. So I haven't got enough to accommodate these last two flaps, but that's okay because we can add papers onto them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take what I can get from here, knowing that I've got this nice bit of map, this vintage map, and this will work if you've got some other nice papers as well. You can still make an envelope. Let's come round. Sorry, I'm drawing that a little bit in a wonky way, but I've just got half of it, and then what we'll do is we'll cut out our shape. So I'm just coming around, I'm cutting out the shape that I drew out there. So this is half of it. These are the scraps. We're going to keep those for something completely different. And this is what we've got. So now what we need to do is find some other scrap to accommodate this piece and piece it together. Okay, now we're going to have fun with a bit of patchwork, because I only need this bottom flap here, and I'd like it to be in this sheet music paper. I'm only putting the flap just up enough to cover the top of the page to give myself enough for this bottom flap, and I'm just drawing round it, and then I can come over here just to finish that off so I can see where I need to be. I'm going to cut this piece out, and I'm just working in a patchwork. Now let's piece it together and see how that's going to work. Okay, now we get the glue, so we can piece these two together, and we can just put a bit of glue on the top here where we want it. Okay, so lining everything up with a template and having the glue on there, I'm just going to bring this in so this comes over and lines up here, and then we can stick that bit down. And now we should be able to lift that away, and we've got the bottom piece. We can decorate this a bit more. So this is franking paper, as we've seen. So just another way of doing it. You don't have to sew it. It's perfectly fine to glue. All right, and then now we want to have something else. And let's see what we've got. Well, I'm sure that it doesn't really matter what we need. So now I found this paper. This is nothing special because this is going to be folded in. So I'm putting my template here. Draw around, give myself that shape. Let's just cut that out. And that's going to go there like that. And then we'll just give a little bit more of an allowance to give us something to stick here. So I've put some glue there, and we're just going to put that on. And then we'll just double check that everything is straight on our template. And then we just go about bringing in those side corners and fold everything in and back up on itself. There we go. And then you just fold in the sides, bring that up. And you can get the bone folder and put in your permanent creases on every side when you're happy with it. Okay. And then you've got yourself a very nice little patchwork envelope for which you can stick things down, embellish further. And then this is fun because you've got different papers, and it might have been nice if I'd done the side different as well, but that doesn't stop you from embellishing and putting some more colours or different textures on these side panels, because you will see all four sides. So there's two little envelopes of how you can make use of your scrap papers, your vintage papers, any book page as well. So we could have some lined text there. Let's see if we've got any book page. Some washi tape that I might be able to use. I'm just going to have a look and see what I can do here. Perhaps I want to put some over here or some over here. Look. I'm just going to add that and cut this out, and then just that adds a little bit of extra. And washi tape is a semi-transparent tape which is low tack, so that adds a bit of texture. I've got some washi tape with some numbers and characters on there. I'm just going to see if I can add this here. Adds a little detail. And we just have a play, just build it up, just add what you want, see how you feel about it, and just make the envelopes that you want to make. Okay, I'm happy with that one. I'm going to glue it down. So I'm just going to come round here and round the sides here. And then we'll just stick that down. Okay, they're quite fun. This one, I'm not happy. Let's give this a different look. Okay, I'm going to pick the little bit that I want to see, and just using up this scrap here, I'm going to just come around with a pencil using this as my template, and then I can just see where I need to come with that. Okay, so I've cut that away, and now let's have a look how this is going to appear. So I just want that little piece there. I think actually I'll just cut that away. I'm going to glue that on there. I can glue this piece on here. I was thinking about wrapping it around to the back, but because the paper's so thin, I don't think it's necessary. So I'm just going to put that on there. And we could do the same on this one. So for this, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to put some glue on this little flap here, all the way around, and then I'm going to put that where I want to see it, and then I shall cut round my shape, and then I can come back in with the glue after if I've missed a little bit. So you just use the original paper as your substrate and add anything else in that you want to see. So this is how it's now looking there, like that. And then on this one I'm just using some dark green down the side, which will tie in with the green of the map. I'm going to go all the way around and down the other side. Just bring in a little bit of a detail to these edges. And that will make everything tie in, and you can see across there it just ages it, gives it a grunge look, and hopefully these are going to get stuck down anyway. So now I've got 2 envelopes. They'll look great if you stack them on a page. I'm just going to glue this one down because I'm happy with it. So I'm putting a bit of glue here and gluing this one down. That's that. And then they're looking really fun, so you can see different interesting papers on both of these, bringing in the elements, the washi tape, all the supplies that you want. You've got a nice space there to put journaling cards or papers, anything you like, and they look great stacked up, and they could look really nice down a page with a whole collection, or you could do different papers and have them in varying sizes as well. So that is one idea, and then you can start embellishing them. So I've just noticed I've got a stamp there. I think that could look good, so we're just going to go with that and glue that down. It's a nice blue colour which just ties in with the blue that we see on a map anyway, so I'll put that there. So we can see our numbers, and then that's how you can start embellishing. Maybe you have something that balances it out there. Let's see what we've got, little flower or something, I'm thinking. So I've got here some flowers that I've previously fussy cut out of botanical books, old books. So actually they weren't that old, but they had some nice illustrations in them. I can't tell you the book, I had lots, and I'm just seeing what I prefer. Quite like that one. And then I can just lose that bottom. That just looks like an autumn sort of colouring, and whereas this is more spring and summer, but you can see how it would work with these little embellished pieces, or some stickers would go very nicely there. So that's very sweet. And then yellow one. Yeah, they all look nice. So it's just a question of what we can have. Maybe over here. This is a bit brighter, so perhaps we'll use the brighter one on there, and we'll keep that one for something else. They look nice for springtime, and that one just worked, so we'll have this one. Now I'm just going around with a PVA glue here, just using the Precision nozzle from Art Glitter Glue. And I've just realised I've glued the wrong bit. I'm upside down. Try again. So I've just used my tacky glue there, and I'm now sticking this on. Yeah, just making sure. Get that where we want it. Now, just looking at these scraps, I've got a nice little piece here that I might bring in, and then I've just noticed this absolute slither of fabric here, which also might look quite nice. So I'm thinking both of those, just to give us a little bit of colour down the bottom. So all we need to do, put a little bit of glue down here. I'm just going to run my finger along there so it doesn't give a great big globule, and then put down this frayed sari silk. This is a sari silk. Put that down there. That's great, and then we just have to go again with another bit of glue. And then put down this little slither of fabric there that came off of a project. And using up the scraps. There we go. So that's that. I think probably want something there which will be the closure. Okay, having another little rummage here. I've got this. This is from a Tim Holtz snippets or something he's called it. I don't know what they're called. I've just found this little ticket. It's a card. It's I think from Tim Holtz, and I'm just going to put that round. I think it's one of his snippet cards. So I'm gluing down half, so this just becomes a little tuck point for the top of the envelope flap, so that will become the closure. So it's going to come and live there like that. And I think I'll just put a paperweight on that over here, and then we'll look at that in a minute while we have a quick work on this one. And I've got this that I'm going to just put down there. I think we'll have some other paper. Right, I quite like this map piece down here. Alright, so now I've got that. Now I've got that, I'm just going to trim off the excess here. My sticky glue bit there and there. That's fun. Keep those pieces, and then we've got an extra bit here, so I might bring that, stick that there to give a bit more detail. Right, and now just taking the tweezers and I'm just putting in a little leaf piece here that I cut off of this last bit here. Just tuck that in. It just sorts out that side there, and that gives us some fun detail on there as well. So these are great. They can come and be a pocket down at the bottom of the journal page, and then you can tuck things behind them as well as put things inside, or they could be a side tuck where you just glue down the two sides. That'll give you a bit of interactive intrigue on a page, and you can make lots of these. Also quite fun, just put a little note in there if you're sending happy mail. It's a fun and easy craft, just something you can make. A couple of these envelopes, you really just feel like you've achieved a few things. These are nice little gifts, and you can carry on embellishing them as you see fit. This one may be a little bit higgledy-piggledy, but it all makes sense when you start opening it and playing about with it. So I might like something else on there now. Okay, they're coming together now. I think that they need a bit more embellishment, because we all know that more is more, and as you keep going through the process you can come up with more ideas and just see how far you can push it. So now I want a closure for this one. I've got my closure there, and I found this bird, and just look, the red is matching in with the red of the roads, and I think that he could look really cute there. And then that would be the closure, but he's not strong enough, and I've got a white edge there which I'm not too bothered about, but I'm going to put a little ink around and see if I prefer him with the inked edge or whether I just want to cut away some of it. But the paper's very thin, not thick enough to be a closure, so I'm going to stick him onto this. I'm hoping that's not wide enough. So I'm going to stick my bird down onto some card just so that I can cut him out again, and then he can be a nice embellishment and also a closure. So I'm putting him down here on this scrapbooking paper, which is a very thick, well, it's card, so this is card, a little bit thicker. Put him down there, and then we'll cut this out. Get my fussy my fussy scissors. Right, just get my fussy scissors. Alright, so I've cut my bird out, and that's the backing. I'm just going to ink around to lose the white cut edge, and then it will all blend together a bit better. I'm using green, but brown, any brown of any ink would be great for an edge or a vintage vibe. And there, he's just going to live there. I think that's great. Let's see if I can tuck his feet under here a little bit. Okay, there we go. I'm sticking, so I've put glue half on the bird, half off, and that's going to come down here. I'm just lining the feet up with the words at the bottom, and then I'm going to angle him round. Just I want the bay to miss his head. That's great. We'll stick him down there. Hopefully I haven't glued it in. No, I'll just take that off. Put that on there. Let that dry and then see if we can put something else up here. Now we're doing nature inspired, so we want to have some elements of nature, and I've just found this little bird with the worms here, so I'm going to have that. Then we're going to glue down my little bird here. Nice brown colours for the autumn crafting that I'm doing at the moment. So he's not part of the closure, he's going to be part of the envelope flap, so I'm just going to tuck him in there and let's just angle it all round. Get the bird where we want it. And then I'm just going to lift that bit up. Just going to cut away this bit of the log or twig that he's sitting on. So that's that one. I could put a layer of matte medium over the top of that just to make sure that that is sticking and staying. So we might do that. That would also strengthen up the little piece there that is his tail. I could put another piece of paper behind there. I'm a little bit concerned that the tail is going to curl up. All right, and now this is a complete extra step, but just because I am going to be sending this to somebody, I'm just going to put his tail. Okay, and now I've just stuck his tail onto this coffee dyed paper because I just want to strengthen that up, and then you won't see the book page from where he came. It gives it a little bit more, just a bit more to go on. Oh, there we go. So that is now a much stronger tail because I've added the coffee paper at the back, and I can even put a little stamp or something if we want to fiddle about and go the extra mile on all of this stuff. A bit of ink just to blend that all in. And that is how it looks when it's closed. Okay, and then the same here. And this is the bird closure here, so we can open it up and we can get into our envelope and put all sorts of little goodies or a journaling card in there. We could even have lined that with writing space, so you would have been able to write on there, but you still could. You could stick in a note if you wanted to have that in a journal where you would write. And I'm just going to put this vintage stamp on like we did over here. I've got this one in a green tone. It's an old South African stamp. Put that there. That's really sweet. I love that. And then we'll just seal this up and let that dry. Ink around, and then these are ready to go in anyone's journal. Aren't they sweet? I'm really pleased with them. And that was a nice little crafting session. Didn't take long. Fun to put together, using up your scrap vintage papers and coming up with some nice ideas, using up scrap fabrics and little snippets and pieces, all the bits that that you quite like to use. And these could be stacked on a page. We'd need a couple more, and then they'd look really great in a journal. So I hope that that was a little bit of inspiration of how you can make some envelopes and give them a vintage feel. This was using matte paper, but you could use the music paper and use mattes on the side flap. And you could use any kind of decorative paper that you have. It doesn't have to be vintage. You could use vintage style papers to achieve this look. Cut out your bird images and use what you have. So there we go. I've enjoyed putting that together for you. I hope that that has been some inspiration there. You can click the bell icon if you'd like to see when my next video will be out. And if you subscribe to the channel, you'll be able to find me in your subscription list, and you can come and join me at any time when you want to just settle in for some quiet crafting time for you. And even if you don't make anything, sometimes it's just relaxing to watch somebody else put things together. So thank you very much for watching, and above everything else, just slow down and make crafting time for you. Bye bye now.